Out of storage, so I'm gonna quickly do this. I had to delete some of the videos. Yeah, like I don't know how many more times I'm gonna explain this. I didn't grow up in one area, and I've already explained the fact that where I went to school doesn't necessarily mean I spent a lot of time in the areas I went to school. I've had a very. Here's the thing: whatever I'm dragged into in the last 9 years, I'm not somebody that has lived a sheltered life. I grew up going to the theatre with Uncle Fred. Things I've said, that's the truth. See, I don't know why these idiots want to play games. We did, okay, besides going to see Mother Goose when we were little kids and I won the door prize. What were we about four then, back when Lego World was in Sydney? And Uncle Fred Uncle Fred was drunk. So they weren't going to. I loved Uncle Fred. They weren't going to. We went. Well, Mum was like, "No, you aren't going to Lego World now. Uncle Fred's going to fall over and break everything." I remember when Darling Harbour opened, when there was all the area there with all the kid stuff, they had all the rides and stuff there. Like we lived around the corner from Australia's Wonderland. We used to go to Australia's Wonderland all the time as kids. Like, here's the thing. You've got people that think we are from some farm in outback areas. Like, no, I'm not. I've told you people the truth. I've told America the truth. America's an immigration, all these other idiots. I'm like, no. I have lived more before I was 22 years of age than I've met people in their 60s have done. Like, as a 21-year-old, I was traveling around America. January and February 2001 was the 2 months I spent around America. That's when I knew exactly where I wanted to live in America, and it was New York or another large city like New York. It didn't have to be, but I always found that I know me. And LA was too quiet, like a country town. It reminded me of Blacktown. Like, it reminded me of, well, Parramatta type, you know? So, yeah, I already did this. Like, I literally had people who obviously don't know me making up stories going, oh, it's been his dream to go to America. I'm like, oh, who are you saying this shit to? Because I'm sure immigration would know I've been to the US several times. You know, it wasn't some Greyhound Therapy or Make-A-Wish Foundation. I went ahead and applied for a green card. I already traveled around. Like, that's the thing. I mean, American idiots like, well, he's not doing anything. I'm just like, well, not at this stage, because I just was here last year. So I know what I'm going to do and what I've planned to do when I move here permanently, and this is going to be my home. These people are a joke. And these people call themselves friends of mine. Seriously, keep calling yourself a friend of mine, I'll say you're delusional. Any friend of mine would know that they don't speak about me. Unless I want you to verify something. For an example, there's a photo of myself down Norton Street wearing my fur coat back in 2005 with Kimberly Sito. Yeah, then you can confirm that that's me. Or when there's a photo of myself and Johnny Totaro at his brother Sam Totaro's wedding was it 2004? Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can just confirm, yes, that's myself and Justin Fleming. That's it. You don't know that much about me to speak for me. My friends don't know. My family doesn't know that much about me. Christ, there is cousins of mine on dad's side that I never socialized with in my life before December 2008. So I'm talking about, like Fiona, Aunt Sharon's children. There is still cousins of mine on my dad's side that I've never met, which is Uncle Warren's children. So Warren Fleming. There's Kimmy and Vicky from Uncle Graham. Uncle Graham's first marriage with was it Carol? I think they're up in or somewhere up in Queensland. Kimmy and Vicky, our cousins, Kimmy and Vicky Fleming, Uncle Graham's children. I have no idea what they're doing. And then did he have children with his second wife Cheryl? I remember when they lived at Ettalong Beach. That was around the time when Shane Johnson, who's the one that looks like a Luigi, he looks Greek. That's the thing. No one in my family matches that. You look at him, it's like, you don't match your name. Like, Shane Johnson doesn't look like a Shane Johnson. He looks like he should be, I don't know, Abraham Elias or something. He looks like Stanley Fleming. Short, stocky, dark features, very woggy looking. That's Aunt Sandra Fleming, so Dad's older sister's son. It was around the time, so when Uncle Graham was living back on the Central Coast, around the time when Shane and Rachel got engaged. So that would have been, what, 1990? You know, so there's cousins that I haven't do with, like, on my dad's side. They don't, people, just because you're related doesn't mean you know anything about the person. If people need information about me, they could easily gather it from me. But these idiots decided to go and gather information from unreliable sources. Instead of just asking me, I don't know what they ask people from my high school. Oh my fucking God. What would they know from my high school? Would they even know what my last name was? Seriously. I don't think even there's a photo of me. I think besides the photo of me when I'm with my artwork, did they even use my actual photo for, because I know when they were doing the Year 10 yearbook photos, Amanda and myself was at a horse show. We went there. So I remember we just had to send in a photo. Mum took a photo of us with a normal camera and send it in for the Year 10 yearbook. I don't think I ended up sending a photo of myself in. I think they used someone else's photo. I'm not sure. But I know, yeah, like we weren't there. Christ, Amanda needs to wake up and get a memory. The beauty of never using drugs and not drinking alcohol. Yeah, we went there. We're at a horse show when they were doing the whole Year 10 yearbook photos. But there's a photo of me with my artwork. I've got 5 pieces of artwork. You can see that. That's me. I don't know what they use for that. But then there's all the other school photos of me. I used to have a mole on my nose. Yeah, I had the mole removed in 1992. And that is a true story. Rebecca Vernon actually used to tease me over the mole, but I didn't care. That's not why I had it removed. She used to say, oh, you got a Cocoa Pop stuck to your nose. Oh, all right. Didn't your mother go walkabout? And seriously, like, to me, things like that was like water off a duck's back. It didn't, like, oh. I got the mole removed because, well, even Mum said, with the sunlight, it's right on your nose. You know, you get it removed, otherwise it's going to be cancerous. I wish I never got it removed now, but it was here. It was right there. I had a mole here on my nose. Like this one. See that mole there? I had a mole here on my nose. It was removed in 1992. So, yeah, it was Dr. Stewart. Dr. Stewart, who used to be Marius Street in Tamworth, removed the mole off my nose in 1992. I had stitches. Yeah. I've got a really good memory. So if anybody needed information, don't drop a date rape drug and try to get information from me. Ask me. Just ask me. Seriously, it's ridiculous. All anyone had to do was be straightforward and ask me. You know, I can be an open book with the right people. So if it's to do with immigration, I can sit there and say, and don't be dickheads like in the interview. Oh my God, the interview in August 2014, I swear to God, the guy wasn't even American that did the interview. He was like a Canadian. So, oh God, yep and yep. No, I just want to, seriously, I feel like sitting there is a ridiculous interview. And he's like, oh, do you like to travel? I'm thinking, oh, I don't fucking really like to travel. But I don't know. How do I answer these questions? Should I be a yes man for the interview? Oh, yeah, sure. If you're asking these questions, well, obviously they want you to be a yes man. I'm no good with interviews. So I'm there going, oh, yeah, sure, love to travel. I hate the travel. Just get me into a city and that's it. Oh, you know, I mean, my thing of traveling is like I'll jump on the train from one side of the city to the next. I'm like that in New York. I love it. It's like, God, if I want a different space, I'll be, if I live down the financial district and I need, you know, a holiday, I'll go up to Columbus Circle. Literally, that's me as a person. If I lived in New York City, I'll be living down the financial district. And if I want to, oh, God, I've got to get away, I'm going to go up to Columbus Circle on the 59th. That's what I would do. That's the person who I am. So ask me. Ask me. Why have you got so many beautiful designer label and jackets? I'm like, I always did. You should have seen what I had as a teenager. Hey, there's a photo of me in 1996 wearing a fabulous Dolce & Gabbana shirt. Ask me. Like, don't ask someone like Stephanie DeSalis or some deadbeat loser who stalked me on social media. She doesn't know me. She barely fucking knows me from how Stephanie DeSalis knows me. Here we go. The Californian Cafe that used to be on Oxford Street. I used to frequent all the 24-hour venues because I worked in 24-hour environment. So it was one of the areas I used to go to and so forth, get coffee or nachos, whatever. So I'd walk past and I'm getting a takeaway coffee. I mean, I was going there for years, and the first time I'd ever met her was in 2004. I never run into her before late 2004, and I've been going there for years. So I walked past her and be like, oh, hi, like I do now. Go into Woolworths and talk to people. You're not going to say the people in Woolworths are my friends. Or the people, I mean, I'll tell you what, Harry, who makes the coffee at Jeeves, yeah, I like, that's him, my friend. That is my type. If you ever knew my type to date, yeah, it's Harry. I couldn't believe he still knows how to make my coffee 2 years later. It's gorgeous. I love him. He's probably straight, but I think he's a beautiful man. I think he's just a lovely man. Like 2.5 years ago, I told him exactly how I like my coffee, and every time I see him, it's exactly the same. 2.5 years later, this guy knows how to make my coffee. And if you want to impress me, make my coffee right. I'm very fussy when it comes to coffee. And if anyone says, oh, when did this start? In the 80s. In the 80s. It's true. The Andronicus that was down in on the little, what was it, the little sort of milk bar place down there in Ruddy Hill Road. Mum used to do drip coffee back then. We did do coffee. It wasn't always instant Carol. It wasn't always Nescafe or bullshit like that. You had that little friggin' coffee machine in the 80s, which you did. In Ruddy Hill, yeah. We did. And then she brought Pop a frother to actually make frothy milk. And then Pop ended up giving it back to Mum. So we had a frother. This is after Mum moved, so it must be the 90s. Remember those commercials on TV and that lady come out and, oh, you can froth milk. It was this sort of blue and white thing. Because Pop always liked his milk to be like a latte, so he used to heat the milk up in the microwave and put coffee in it. It was always made on milk. Mum brought one for Pop for Christmas, and Pop wouldn't use it. Because he had to put water in it, boil it, and froth it with the metal jug. So Pop gave it back to Mum. We could make lattes at home. Then I had an espresso machine. Then I used to buy the magnetas to put on the stove, and I'm talking about in the 90s. And one of the coffee pots to put on the stove was still at Mum's not that long ago. It was still there, I think, still in the cupboard back even when I was there in 2018. I think Mum still had it in the back of the cupboard. I think she might have given it to me, actually. Actually, I think she did. She said, do you want this? Because they never use it. It was the coffee pot that I used to use in the late 90s. And they put the coffee on the stove. So and that's the thing. You could ask my mother, about Justin drinking coffee, and she said, oh yeah, he's always drunk good coffee. Then you ask my dad's side, like Fiona, Meredith, Joan, and all those, and they'll be like, oh, he's probably, they don't know me. So here's the thing. Auntie Sharon's children didn't know me before I was with Giovanni. They don't know me. Uncle Tony and Auntie Linda did not know me before I was with Giovanni. Their children didn't know me. I didn't grow up with those cousins. I didn't grow up with those uncles and aunties. We barely saw each other at a family function or family funeral. Okay? We used to, I think in the 90s, I remember them at Shane's engagement. I'm sure Aunt Sharon and Uncle Bobby and their children were at Shane's engagement. But then I hung around the Sandra's side of the family because they knew Mum's side. So Dad's older sister, Sandra, she knew my mum's parents. There's divides in the family. Here's the thing. Organisations took information in the last 9 years from family members that was divided throughout the years, and they don't know a thing about me at all. And Dad's younger sister, Aunt Linda, her husband, Uncle Tony, Dad's older sister, Aunt Sharon, her husband, Uncle Bobby, their children, so Linda's children, so Carly. So here's the other thing. I didn't even know my other cousins before Aunt Sandra passed away. I'd never met them before in my life. So I knew Carly. Carly was the only one. So Carly was the only one I knew when I was younger. Then at Aunt Sandra's funeral in 2001, there's Christy and there's Jessica, and I never met them before in my life, and they were growing up. I'd never met them before in my life. Hang on. No, I do remember when one of them was a baby. Christy must have been a baby, I think. And there's a photo. We're only little kids and we're at Aunt Linda's then. I'm not saying I don't like them. I'm saying we didn't grow up together. You know? I adore them. So I've had my life, they've had their life. We have different traditions, different religions, different everything. Then and the same. So I do remember when Jeffrey, I adore Jeffrey. He was staying at Nan's place. I remember one time I'm staying at Uncle Graham's. So Dad and Annette came up. This is after this is when Uncle Graham was still living on the Central Coast. Dad and Annette came and was staying at Uncle Graham's. So Amanda and myself were staying with Dad and Annette at Uncle Graham's and Auntie Cheryl's. That's Uncle Graham's new wife, or now ex-wife again. His new wife now's Japanese or Chinese. No, Japanese, I think. His new wife. Anyway, at the same time, Aunt Sharon's older son was staying at Nan's place down the road in Bangalow Street at Long Beach. So I went to the beach every day and was hanging out with Jeffrey Williams, my cousin. And it just so happened that coincidental, my cousin was staying at Ettalong Beach at our grandmother's house at Ruby's, and I was down the road at my uncle's house, Uncle Graham's, which is Dad's brother. So we were hanging out at Uncle Graham's. That was when Uncle Graham had this whole furniture business. And then I was meeting Jeffrey down the beach to hang out with my cousin Jeffrey. So that's the only time I sort of socialised with my kids. And then I hadn't seen him for years. And then Auntie Sandra passed away in 2001. And I saw him all at Auntie Sandra's funeral. I didn't keep in touch. And then Nan passed away in October 2007. And we're like, this is ridiculous. We're going to keep running into each other at funerals. Let's keep in touch. So we all exchanged phone numbers. And, I was ended up being close to Joanne and so forth. But it wasn't until December 2008 did we start to socialise. Yes, I hung out with Christy Cerrone. I said, look, come down to, because I used to love Opera Bar. Anyone who knows me, even my birthday. John Cabino said, what do you want to do for your 25th? But here's the thing. John Cabino said, who do you want to invite to your birthday party? So he ended up getting to know me really well. My 26th birthday, he said, who do you want to invite? I'm like, just you. I just want a really beautiful, like my birthday party. I don't want to have a heap of people or presents. So I just want to go to Cafe Sydney, have Balmain Bugs, and spend the afternoon. So what my beautiful birthday was, it was the best birthday I've ever had. So I just want to spend that at the Opera Bar. That's all I want to do. I want to sit there at the Opera Bar, listen to the jazz, have Balmain Bugs, and enjoying my birthday myself. And he said, okay, so you don't want to invite any of your friends? Like, you don't want to? And I'm like, no. I'm happy just to be with you. And then he said, so the lady from Mossman, who was really lovely, Kim Davis, who actually really got us together because I met Kim first. When John was trying on tight underwear, and I said, I can't remember how to say tight in Italian, but tight modande, molto grande culo bellissimo. And John flung the door open and was like, who's this Italian guy? So I think he's like, no. But because I spun, how do you say tight again? Bambino mutande, molto grande culo bellissimo. Something like this. Like the first thing I said after meeting Kim Davis first, who was waiting for John Cabino, who was trying on underwear at Gowan's on Oxford Street. And that's when I met him in 2005. And John's like, oh, Kim really wants to come. And she adores you. I'm like, oh, I adore her. Yes, she can come. And we had the best birthday ever. So I first spent, and this is where my photo at Star's taken, I went to Oak Hair Salon in Balmain, and I had blonde foils. So here's the thing. There's photos of me, and it's like, yes, that year I was putting blonde foils, copper foils, and chocolate brown foils. I was lightening my hair. My hair's dark. I used to lighten it, like with foils to break it up. My hair's black, near black. It's dark brown near black. So I used to lighten it. So in 2005, around my birthday, April in 2005, I went and saw Anthony at Oak Hair Salon, and we straightened my hair. I had it all done. I was getting my hair done for my birthday, and I had all these foils for my hair, different coloured foils. So when it had like, it was, because I used to always try to make myself look more like a blondish Aussie. I did. So I used to put blonde through my hair to try and look more that Australian blonde, and I used to wear blue contacts. So I used to try to look like that type of Australian with blonde hair and blue eyes. But in reality, my hair's near black and I've got dark eyes. Like, I've got the so, and this is what's so insane. The last 9 years, where people think I'm trying to look this way that I am now, where I look dark features, I look Arabic. It's like I do look Arabic naturally. I look like Stanley Fleming. I used to try to not look the way I do. So I'd always lightened my hair with things like peroxide in a can, mousse, which used to really make it reddish, or take the. It wasn't good. But not saying it was. So I used to always put foils for it. But this is my and I used to wear blue contacts to work. Where Marissa, one of my bosses, comes past Lagoon Host Desk one day and said, "Justin, take him out." I'm like, "But you only know my eyes aren't blue because you know what my eyes are. Everybody else thinks they're blue." Like, literally, she goes, "Take him out." I was like, "Oh God," but I'm dark. I'm naturally dark features. I'm dark skin naturally. I'm dark eyes. I'm dark hair. I'm dark beard. I'm near black. That's my natural features. And here's the other thing. I can't believe idiots just couldn't just listen to me in the last 9 years. It's like, yeah, but my features are naturally dark. I did everything in the past. Probably damaged my hair shockingly. There was times when my hair was really badly damaged. I mean, you can still like straighten it. Chemically straighten it where, oh my God, I remember when I had all up the top here straightened, really coarse straightened, almost like Asian hair. I had it chemically straightened back in November 2012. I had it straightened for the photo on my green card photo. Oh, it looks like Asian hair on my green card photo. Christ, it's so, but I did. I'm naturally dark featured. You know, that's just it. You know, I straightened my hair back in, the year 2000. I had a Caesar haircut. So where you do it with a razor blade, and had it really, really short. And then I had it really, thinned out short, you know, where you had that real sort of scissor cut. And then to get that real NSYNC look, I had it straightened. It's fucking ridiculous. So anyway, like, all anyone had to do was ask me. I don't know why things were, asked anyone else. Anyway, this is the third video I'm going to upload. Oh, by the way, let me actually finish off this video by saying, so this is, in the modern world that we live in, I'm sure there is so many people that have YouTube accounts out there. I'm sure. There is. So people post thousands of videos. They've got an office. They do better than what I do. I used to sit and do sort of video sort of things years ago and then edit them and upload. And then I moved. From Rushcutters Bay to Woolloomooloo. And then dickheads in Woolloomooloo that were spying into my life goes, "Oh, he's talking to himself." Are you insane, you fucking loser? Number one, you're breaking privacy and confidentiality laws and prying laws deliberately. Prying into my life. And they were deliberately doing it. Number two, what? If I ever heard somebody talking or had an earpiece in or whatever, I was like, well, I don't go instantly to, oh, they're talking to themselves. That's insane. You have issues. If you think someone's talking to themselves, you're the person with the issue. Are you from a country town? You have issues. If you honestly believe someone's talking to themselves, you have issues. And literally that did happen in 2017. These idiots did. I'm like, you have issues. You honestly think that, then you really do have issues. And, well, your biggest issue was prying into my life. You loser. Spying into my life like a fucking weirdo. The other thing is, we live in a modern world with technology. Most people do video post themselves, talk about themselves. Everything's about posting videos and doing videos, or voice to text, or voice to this, or voice activated that. What rock do you live in? What rock? Oh, and it's fucking, I'll tell you what, if I run into one more wanker from the country, one more dickhead from New England, seriously, they want to know why I've got an issue with them. Your behavior in the last 9 years. Simple. And you continued the behavior into America. And if I ever met someone that I thought was so dumb as dog shit in my entire life before, it was you, group of people. And now you've basically confirmed that for me in the last 9 years with your stupidity. Deb Mears and Michael Long was enough in 2017. I can tell you that was enough. But then when Heidi Jones asked me what trauma I have towards where my mother lives when she first moved in here below me, I'm just like, okay, this is too far. Not only did I have a loser, Anthony Wood, that wanted to say when I'm in America going, oh, it's a trigger for you. I'm like, what's a trigger? Where my mother lives because I told you that I'm not from there? Oh, that's a trigger for you. No, it's not. Why is that a trigger for me? Doesn't make any sense. My mother moved there from Sydney. What's the trigger? What's the trigger? Let me explain something to you. My grandparents are from the inner city, so my great grandmother was still living in the inner city when I was growing up. That house was sold in 1999, so I had the luxury of having a very city experience life as well, even after my mother moved. I'm born in the suburbs of Sydney and raised. My mother worked in the city. We spent a lot of life growing up in the city, and then she moved in April 1989. Is that when the trauma was? What trauma? Because let me see, we were still back home in Sydney all the time, so every second weekend was spent back home in Sydney, every single holiday except for October. Also, they must have been trauma. So, well, what trauma will be around October? Because in October it was a sporting holiday where I actually did something different compared to the normal equestrian riding that I did. So I used to do hacking, nationals, and royals. So then, of course, in October it's something different. You have the experience of different sporting events. So I absolutely love polo cross. So I've realised I absolutely love polo cross, and I used to enjoy doing polo cross that week once a year. That's the only time I ever got to do polo cross was that once a week. We had equestrian horses. We had hacks. We were going to nationals. We were going to royals. We weren't polo cross, people. We had, very expensive horses that you couldn't do polo cross with because you can't mark them. They had to be, the thoroughbred hacks. But I've really enjoyed polo cross. So there was no issues there. It's like, okay, so October, we having fun playing polo. There was other sports as well, but polo cross I really took to. Didn't like tent pegging. Polo cross reminded me when we did, I remember in Sydney, when we were still riding for Kumara Pony Club, and it was some British thing that we were doing back in the days in the 80s. Oh God, I can't remember it. What it was called, but anyway, and we got to experience things like that as well in Sydney, and then we had Jamboree in Castle Hill in Sydney. So then I'm like, okay, there's no trauma around that because that was fun. I enjoyed polo cross; that was awesome. Then what else? Oh, there must be traumas with your high school. Well, not really. It was. I looked at the school and was like, seriously. I looked at the school and thought, oh my God, St. Aidan's had better facilities, but the curriculum's good. So I was like, well, the curriculum was really good. I mean, look at the subjects we've got to choose. I mean, I did French in year 7 and 8, and I did do French in year 7 and 8. Amanda did Indonesian. I did French. So for years 7 and 8 in 1992 and 1993, I had Miss Davis, or Mrs. Davis, who had short, mousy, brown, blondish hair. Miss Craig was the other French teacher, but she also did music, and I loved Miss Craig. I had her for music. Absolutely adored Miss Craig. Miss Davis. Then my English teacher was Miss Davids, or vice versa. Miss Davids had short black hair. My drama teacher, Miss Newbury. My art teacher, Judy Ball, until she had the stroke, and then Miss Gill took over. My commerce teacher, who was a fucking wanker, a sheep fucker from New Zealand, which was Peter Tryon. But, I ended up having good grades in commerce. I loved commerce. Religious studies was with Brother Hemmel. I did really good in religious education, religious studies. What was the one about the environment? Husey or whatever it was. Husey. I think it was called Husey. It was short, like something like this. It was human studies in the environment or something. I think it was called Husey. This class that we all had, it was compulsory. I had to do as well. That was fantastic. Art, drama, commerce, had language, like all the curriculum was fantastic. So even though the school was rubbish itself, had an indoor indoor basketball courts. So very American. Had indoor basketball courts. My school. So the auditorium was a basketball court. But it was rubbishly built. And I used to look at it thinking, oh my God, St. Aidan's was so much better the way St. Aidan's was built. St. Aidan's was brick anyway. The curriculum was great. And then that's the other thing. It's like, well, sport, they had something, obviously had to deal with the workers club because we used to be able to use the indoor swimming pools. So my school for Tuesdays, we could pick. So there was squash, courts, whatever. If you go to the workers club for sport, you had indoor swimming, rock climbing, squash, the gymnasium as well. So what? Like, so then it's like, so what really? Oh, what? Because what? Maybe was I bullied or something? Was I? Because I really don't care. I'm not. If you want me to say it traumatized me, sure, it traumatized me. Let's take it legally. Okay, if that's what you want to hear, I'll give you what you want to hear. Oh, it's red flags. It's trauma. Oh God, it's a trigger. Yeah. Do you want to do that? Sure, let's do it. So get a solicitor, I'll get a solicitor, and let's take it legally because that's all I care about. Everything. That's why there's closure in the legal system. So if you want to play your little bullshit mental health shit, you've met somebody that doesn't play your fucked up games. Okay, I don't play your fucked up games with your mental health weirdo. That's your bullshit leftist behavior. I have a different approach where if you want closure, there's a legal system. So compensation is closure. And it's actually been proven that compensation is the best form of closure. It's an end. It softens the blow. Money always helps. Money has been proven that is. That's why people say they lose a child for an accident. They're awarded millions of dollars because it softens that. It softens it. Money truly is the only currency. Money truly is the only counseling. Money is the only thing that actually softens the effect of damage. Your mental health bullshit doesn't. Okay, that's your fucked up world that you want to live in because that's your communist and socialist world. In the real world, you pay money for damages. In the real world. Okay? I don't need your bullshit trauma, your red flags, or your triggers. In the real world, money is paid. You cause damage, you pay money. And that makes things so much better. That softens the blow. It's been proven years. It has been. Go and look it up. It's been proven that a compensation is a settlement that's not insulting. And I've researched this. So a settlement that's not insulting. Okay, so both parties are happy and they walk away and there's closure. That's the only way to do closure. You don't do it through your mental health counseling. You don't do it through your bullshit, red flags and trauma and triggers. You don't do it for your psychology. It's already been proven time and time again in the past. And I do understand that you people want to push your leftist bullshit agenda and your distributing of wealth. I don't play that way. My damages are to me and subjected to me alone. I don't play your way. And I won't ever play your way. You've cost me money, you've cost me assets, you've cost me belongings. You pay for that. Okay, so you can already pay for what it's cost me in savings, assets, and belongings. Then you can pay for loss of salary. Then you can pay for duress. You can pay for breaking privacy laws, confidentiality, and prying laws. You can pay for future damage to tarnishing my reputation. And we can look at a figure, and it can be a not insulting figure, and we can have closure. That is the best. That's been proven that it does give closure. Now, I worked my ass off. I had a great life. I had a lot of money, I had great assets, and I enjoyed it. Now I'll have all that back, thanks. And you can go off and live your fucked up left world. Doesn't mean I have to agree with it, which I don't agree with your projections into my life. That's your fucked up world. In my less fucked up world, I don't have to listen to you, believe you, or agree with you. And I don't agree with you. Money's the only currency. You've damaged a lot of my life for 9 years. You people chose to do this. That's your choice. You want to go down this path, then you pay for the damage you've caused me. And that means everything. That means every item. That means every piece of clothing. That means every, Everything right down to the teaspoon. Okay? That means my beautiful Edwardian solid mahogany cabinet. That means my savings. That means my car. That means my music chair. That means everything. That means clothing that I've had to throw out on the way because I would never throw out my shoes. No way. I had shoes that were from my teenage years because they're really good quality shoes. You know, beautiful Italian shoes which are very comfortable to wear, which is why I wear them and get them resold. So no, I'm not going to play your game in your fucked up world. Good, go play it. In my less fucked up world, where I don't agree with your bullshit, socialism, communism, distributing of wealth, liberal, libertarian bullshit behaviour, or whatever's going on here, where, or country people are moving to Sydney and whatever crap. Yeah, okay. In my less fucked up world, you've damaged my life for 9 years. Oh, it's almost 10. So let's make it up. We can round up to 10. You can offer me a figure that's not insulting. So it has to include what it's cost me in damages of assets, belongings, savings, credibility, pain and suffering, future pain and suffering, duress for the period of time that this is continued on for. And make it not insulting, and then we can negotiate whether it's going to be accepted or not, and that is closure. And we can walk away in our different directions. Yeah. Because I worked really hard to have what I had. And you people chose to interfere in my life and damage my character and credibility for 9 years. That's it. That's the real world. Okay? That's a capitalist world.